Good evening and welcome. This is the home of Untold Stories. Thank you for tuning in. We have up-to-date stories lined up for you this 4th of September. Tomorrow is the D-Day where the Supreme Court will decide whether to uphold or nullify the result of last month's presidential election, with President-elect William Ruto pledging to respect the outcome of the Supreme Court process, adding that there would be a peaceful transition between him and the President, Uhuru Kenyatta, if his win is upheld by the court. And in sports tonight, FKF has postponed the start of the new Kenyan Premier League season for the second time, with the new dates set for September 24th. Details to that and much more right here on TV47 Weekend with me, Karen Karimi. And the headlines tonight. Tonight, Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Alliance leader Raila Odinga downplays the issue of politicians defecting from the coalition, insisting the coalition is strong.
We as Azimio are confident that our cause is just. And if you're fighting for a just cause, you never get deterred by setbacks. Setbacks are part of the game.
Also tonight, Deputy President William Ruto confident of winning at the Supreme Court, but maintains that he will respect whatever decision that will be arrived at by the judges.
Sisi ni nchi ya kufuata sheria, pia tutaheshimu uamuzi wa mahakama ya upeo.
Plus, hundreds of families displaced by floods in Marigat town, Baringo County, with residents calling on the government to assist them.
A bedroom hakuna, imenyeshewa yote, hata ya watoto imenyeshewa.
Welcome to the program. Anne Wairimo is our sign language interpreter tonight. Now, as the country waits for the Supreme Court verdict by the 7-judge bench on Monday, Kenyans have been asked to accept the court ruling instead of wasting time discussing about the same. This is according to Joseph Galgalo, the Assistant Bishop of the Holy Ghost Cathedral Church. The story was produced by Andrew Juma.
At the Holy Ghost Cathedral Church in Nairobi, the Sunday service is conducted in a special way as a way of praying for the nation ahead of the Supreme Court judgment on Monday. Speaking to the press shortly after the service, Bishop Joseph Galgalo asked political leaders not to incite their supporters in case the ruling does not go their way.
Watu wetu wamechoka na siasa duni ya kupigana, ya uhasama. Na wamekubaliana wengi ya kuwa ikiwa ni kuchaguana tena wako tayari. Ikiwa koti itaamua itakuwa fulani, wataikubali.
Wakenya ni watulivu mpaka watakapochochewa. Na mimi nasema hivi kibinafsi, kama maandamano yanafanywa wiki hii yana nia mbaya, na kwa ajili hiyo sisi kanisa tunakataa.
Jambo ambalo tunataka tu kuhimiza Wakenya ni ya kwamba waweze kuwa na amani, kwa sababu nchi hii ni yetu. Tulikuwa tukiwahubiria, tukiwaimbia amani. Amani ndiyo inahitajika kwa Wakenya wote.
Kenyans who spoke to TV47 expressed their satisfaction with the 7-judge bench, saying the Martha Koome-led team will give them justice as they desire.
We expect the positive result because we saw what happened. We even had the massive rigging which took place, and we hope very sincerely that the judges will give independent judgment without taking side.
If the judgment does go their way, this will remain peaceful and calm so that we continue with our lives.
Even now, if it goes either way, you know there are some people who will say, now that these people fought us in court, they should not benefit from the fruit that we have fought for. You see, you'll see some areas are going to be neglected. which is obvious. Okay? So that is a culture that if things can happen the way people want, nobody will fight for the presidency. You see, this is why you can see what you are seeing that were coming out in the courts.
However, Bishop Galgalo asked the Martha Koome-led team to settle on a decision that will not cause unusually high temperatures in the country, but instead come up with a good decision for prosperity.
Na kesi imeweza kukamilika kwa njia ambayo kila Mkenya ameridhika. Sasa tunawacha uamuzi uweze kutolewa hapo kesho. Jambo ambalo tunataka tu kuhimiza Wakenya ni ya kwamba waweze kuwa na amani.
Uamuzi wowote tutakaopata Jumatatu, sisi kama wananchi wazalendo wa Bungoma tunaahidi kuweka amani na kulinda kaunti yetu na kulinda nchi yetu.
Kenyans have however been asked to remain at home, follow the live proceedings at the comfort of their homes and not to crowd in the Nairobi CBD waiting for the verdict.
Ninataka kuwaomba Wakenya wasiende barabarani, waende kazini kwao. Hakuna kipato tutapata barabarani. Na barabarani ndio nafasi ya hooliganism, ya looting, ya violence. Na kama tunajua mahali watu waliuawa ni barabarani kwenye maandamano.
The long-awaited Supreme Court verdict is expected to change the political scene, meaning if Ruto's win will be upheld by the Apex Court, Ruto's swearing-in ceremony will happen on the 13th of this month in Kasarani Stadium, while Odinga's dream to become the 5th president will have been dealt another blow. Joash Onsare, TV47, Nairobi.
Now, with the day before the Supreme Court of Kenya is set to make the final verdict on the presidential petition, Kenyans are nervously waiting for the judgment to find out who the next president will be. And as Micah Gwango reports, among the questions being considered by the court is whether or not the Election Commission's portal was hacked into and if there was any interference with the transmission of results.
The Supreme Court on Friday concluded its hearing of the presidential election petition, with the 7-judge bench retreating to write their verdict that will be rendered on Monday. Following the conclusion of the legal showdown, all eyes are now fixed on the judges to administer their judgment, which will give the way forward for the country.
President-elect to come forward and receive his certificate.
The Deputy President William Ruto was declared winner after clinching victory by less than 2 percentage points against his opponent Raila Odinga, who is now challenging the result. The Supreme Court said it had identified 9 issues to determine the outcome of the petitions, challenging the results of the August 9th presidential election, including whether or not any irregularities were substantial enough to nullify the poll. The 9 key issues for determination included results transmission, uploading of Forms 34A, similarities of forms, postponement of Mombasa and Kakamega elections, tallying of votes and references with other elective positions, tallying, verification and declaration process, 50% plus 1 threshold, illegalities in the process and technology. But unlike some previous elections, the situation has remained peaceful. Siaya Governor James Orengo has exuded confidence that the Supreme Court will rule in favor of the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya presidential candidate Raila Odinga and confirmed that the just concluded general elections were bungled.
Mimi sina shaka hata kidogo ya kwamba maamuzi ya kesho itakuwa ya kwamba Raila Amolo Odinga alifanyiwa maajabu kupitia ujanja na ukora ya hawa mercenaries ambao walitoka nchi ya Venezuela.
Orengo, who is Raila's lead counsel in the petition challenging the declaration of the Deputy President William Ruto as the president-elect at the same time, called on Kenyans to maintain peace as they wait for the outcome and even after the court delivers its judgment.
Uamuzi ya mahakama itakuwa kwamba hiyo uchaguzi ilikuwa uchaguzi ambao ulikuwa na uwizi na mengine ambapo inaonekana Kenya hii hatukupata uhuru kamili. Kama mtu kama Chebukati anaweza kuleta watu kutoka Venezuela.
Sisi kama viongozi ningependa kuomba tuwe na subira na uamuzi wote ambao utatoka hapo kesho kwa mahakama ya juu. Sisi kama viongozi wa Azimio tuko tayari kukubali uamuzi wa mahakama ya juu, kwa sababu lazima tuwe na amani, and where there is peace there is development.
Odinga, who lost his fifth bid for the presidency, rejected the outcome of the August 9th polls and filed a petition at the top court alleging fraud in the vote tallying process. Among the questions being considered by the court is whether or not the Election Commission portal was hacked and if there was any interference with the transmission of the results forms. The court says it is attempting to answer 9 questions, and if the results is nullified, it could lead to fresh elections.
Okay, so you move it to the next table.
The top court also ruled that the votes cast in at least 14 out of more than 46,000 polling stations be inspected, scrutinized, and recounted. No election in the past 20 years has gone unchallenged, and both Odinga and Ruto have put together huge legal teams to argue their points. Regardless of the outcome on Monday, the judges may have 4 possible orders to make. The Apex Court may dismiss the petition by Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition Party Chief Raila Odinga, thereby upholding the victory of President-elect William Ruto. In another possible outcome, the court may invalidate the declaration of Ruto by the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission IEBC as the president-elect, which will set the stage for the nullification of the August elections. Regarding a situation where Odinga's petition is thrown out and Ruto's victory upheld, the court will direct on the party which caters for the costs of the petition. The decision of the 7-judge bench shall be final. If Ruto's victory will be upheld, then he will be sworn in on September 13, 2022, 7 days after the delivery of the verdict. Should they allow the petition, Ruto's declaration as president-elect will be nullified and a repeat State House race conducted within 60 days. Mike, GOtv 47, Nairobi.
Thank you, Mike, for that report. Now, Azimio la Umoja flag bearer Raila Odinga has maintained that the coalition is strong and that recently witnessed defections should not cause alarm, adding that for a very long time, such defections have been common in the world of politics. Raila, while meeting a section of the Kiraitu Murungi-led Devolution Empowerment Party leadership that recently defected to Kenya Kwanza, exuded confidence that he still commands a large following in the country. Wega William with that report for us.
Seen as a blow to the Azimio la Umoja coalition after Devolution Empowerment Party leaders led a section of its members and declared its support to the president-elect led coalition Kenya Kwanza, Raila Odinga has stated such moves are not new to him. Odinga also added that he will not be deterred by such moves even as more defections rogue the coalition.
This is the character being exhibited by our friend, and it is most unfortunate, but it is something that is historical. We as Azimio are confident that our cause is just. And if you're fighting for a just cause, you never get deterred by setbacks. Setbacks are part of the game.
Meru leaders led by Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Peter Munya, who attended the meeting, blasted the former Meru governor for defecting to their main rival camp despite having a pre-election agreement with the Azimio coalition.
The defection of the former governor of Meru is just a confirmation of what we have always known, that his sympathies lay elsewhere. And therefore, it is better to have strong people who are committed to you than have saboteurs.
Other leaders present reiterated to Odinga that the support he enjoys from Meru County and the larger Mount Kenya region is still intact and that he should not be deterred by the recent defections rocking Azimio.
Azimio is intact in Meru, and I know it's intact in Mount Kenya and in the entire country.
Raila Odinga, however, called his supporters to remain calm ahead of the much-anticipated ruling from the Supreme Court in a petition he filed wanting the court to overturn William Ruto's victory.
we believe that ultimately justice shall triumph, and that it is the Kenyan people who will be the happier.
The Azimio la Umoja presidential flag bearer Raila Odinga has called on his supporters and Kenyans at large to exercise and also maintain peace ahead of the verdict by the Supreme Court of Kenya led by Martha Koome. Mwige William, TV47, Nairobi.
President-elect Dr. William Ruto has said that he will accept and respect the verdict that will be delivered by the 7 Supreme Court judges tomorrow. And as our very own Chichi Josephine now reports, Ruto, who spoke in Njoro, Nakuru County during a Thanksgiving church service, said Kenyans will achieve equality if everyone respects the rule of law.
Accompanied by his deputy-elect Rigathi Gachagua, ANC leader Musalia Mudavadi, Nakuru Governor Susan Kihika, among others, President-elect William Ruto exuded confidence that the Supreme Court will uphold his victory.
That because we respect the law, we respect institutions that are set up by the law. That we will respect IEBC and its decisions because we are law-abiding, and we respect the law because we are a country based on the rule of law. And tomorrow, equally, we will respect the decision of the judiciary because we are a country based on the rule of law and respect for all the institutions. That is the only way we will remain democratic. That's the only way we will remain a constitutional country. And that is the only way the citizens of the Republic of Kenya will be equal.
Deputy President-elect Rigathi Gachagua lashing at Azimio leader Raila Odinga's faction for what he said was calling for demonstrations.
Sasa anasema watu waandamane. Wewe mzee kitendawili na Maida mkuwe pale mbele, muongoze maandamano hapo mbele. Hakuna mtu Kenya tena atakubali watoto ya wenyewe watumiwe vibaya. Na ndio hii uchaguzi hii imeonyesha ya kwamba mtoto ya mama yeyote anaweza kuwa rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya. Si imeonekana? This election, what it has done is to encourage every Kenyan that working hard and praying to God, you can achieve your dream in your lifetime.
He reiterated that once in power, they shall reshuffle senior police officers and provincial administrators, as well as ensure better economy for Kenyans.
Polisi nimeona hapa wamenisimamisha ati ulituahidi ndani ya siku 100 mtatuongeza mshahara. Sasa ati imebaki 71. Hapana. Nyinyi polisi ienda polepole. Hamwezi kwanza kuhesabu kutoka tarehe 9. Mtahesabu tukiapishwa. Si ndio? Kwa sababu nyinyi polisi mtu amechelewesha nyinyi ni hii mzee ya makesi. Kama hangekuwa na makesi tungekuwa tumeapishwa tungeanza nini? Lakini sasa ameleta makesi.
ANC party leader Musalia Mudavadi urged Kenyans to maintain peace after the judgment, sentiments echoed by Nakuru Governor Susan Kihika, who exuded confidence of the region remaining united.
We as a government want to be peaceful, we want to unite everybody, and we are committed to work diligently under the leadership of William Samoei Ruto so that we can achieve what we pledged in our manifesto.
I respect you so much because the kind of vitriol, the kind of hatred that was being spewed in this area, lakini mulisimama kidete na mukasema nyinyi kama wa Kenya mnataka amani na mukakataa kuuziwa uoga.
The 7-judge Supreme Court bench is set to make its judgment on the legitimacy of DP Ruto's election as president after Azimio leader Raila Odinga filed a petition against his win.
Mimi nataka niombe wa Kenya wote tukigoja mahakama kuu kesho uamuzi wa mahakama yetu. I want to request all of us that we remain peaceful. Kenya is very important. Kenya is more important than any other leader.
Chichi Josephine, TV47.
Away from that, hundreds of residents in Marigat town, Baringo South, are tonight counting losses following a heavy downpour witnessed Saturday night. Most families were left with nowhere to sleep as their beddings were soaked in water and their houses left roofless. Residents now blame the county government for failure to unclog the drainage system in the town.
Residents of Marigat town, Baringo South, are counting losses after rains caused havoc, bringing down their houses. The helpless residents were forced to find shelter elsewhere after strong winds blew off their rooftops.
Vile imekuja tujai kuona mvua kama hii kwa maisha yetu yote. Na tunashangaa imekuwaje, imekuwa ni nyanda ya juu peke yake, hii laini vile umeona ndio imeanguka.
Na sana sana imeangusha mamiti, usuri watoto tu wako, hakuna mtu aliathirika kwa maisha.
The heavy rains caused flash floods with River Parkesa breaking its banks following the heavy downpour, also affecting Milimani, Kivumbini, Marigat Inn and Marigat Central Business District, where business was completely cut off.
Iliingia kila mahali, iliaffect kila mahali kwa hapa, hakuna nyumba yenye maji chaingia. Sasa kila mtu ndiye anapata hasara hapa. Vitu libebwa na watu hawakulala hapa, watu walitafuta mahali pa kulala huko nje.
Baringo County Deputy Governor Charles Kipng'ok, who is in charge of disaster management toward the area on a fact-finding mission, blaming the poor drainage in the town for the losses incurred.
Kwa sasa nafikiri naweza sema mpaka sasa tangu jana stima haifanyi kwa sababu miti iliangukia hizo balls za stima, lakini watu wa Kenya Power Lighting are working on them so that they should be able to restore power as soon as possible.
Residents now want the county and national government to focus on streamlining the drainage system in town. Andrin Kilemi, TV 47.
Now, former Embu Senator Lenny Kivuti has defended the Devolution Empowerment Party's move to join the Kenya Kwanza coalition, saying that it was informed by the fact that most of Embu residents voted for Kenya Kwanza. Now, addressing the press at his Kanyuambora home, where he had hosted a Thanksgiving event for his campaign team, Kivuti said that the move was a collective agreement by its members.
Kama basi iliamua itaingia Kenya Kwanza, hiyo ni mambo ya basi.
Joining Kenya Kwanza is not a story. It is real. It's true. And we have reason within BAS, Devolution Empowerment Party. We discussed this internally and we came to a consensus simply because the majority of our people, they actually elected His Excellency William Samoei Ruto. Kenya Kwanza is a partnership. It's not like we are selling the bus or we are dissolving the bus. We just join the coalition as a partner. That's all. If Embu gets development, it's better than my personal ego.
Now to matters education, and parents continue to elicit mixed reactions on the CBC program as transitioning of grade 6 students to junior secondary schools keeps looming. The parents now say that the program has come with much financial burden as the country grapples with a high cost of living.
CBC parents have been urged to join hands with the government in a bid to ensure a smooth transition to junior secondary schools. According to Principal Secretary for the Implementation of Curriculum Reforms, Fatuma Chege, parents are part of the stakeholders and have a huge responsibility in ensuring that the program becomes a success.
Secondary education must be understood as secondary education. We've been hearing people saying, why doesn't that this class remain in primary? It cannot, because the curriculum is designed for secondary school with the sciences as we know them, biology, chemistry and physics.
Chege has challenged parents to play their role emotionally and financially in helping their children embrace the changes, even as they continue undertaking the critical transition in their academic life. Chege at the same time noted that most children at that stage are transitioning into adolescence and as such require the moral support in enabling them cope with the psychological changes in their bodies.
Some of them, many classrooms. I witnessed one that had 10 classrooms and there are no children in there. So there was no need to build there. However, there were schools that had deficit and others that had just enough. So those classrooms were being built, first of all, in schools that had deficit.
However, the CBC curriculum has continued to elicit mixed reactions, with parents lauding and expressing disappointment in equal measure owing to the financial burden.
Anyway, kwa wazazi imetupatia challenge kwa sababu saa hii inatuvutia zaidi kwa watoto, tuwakaribie zaidi. Tulikuwa kama mfano mimi nilikuwa naona sina ukaribu na mtoto, lakini mambo mengi yamekuja ya kwa ni concentrate na mtoto.
I agree. You know, the parents are not used to engaging with the children so much, and there've been a gap between the parents and the children. But with the CBC curriculum, parents are getting a chance of knowing what the children have, of knowing the emotions of their children.
Unatumwa vitu vingi hata unashangaa hivi navyo, hata niseme nini mimi? Sina la kusema, waturegeshe ile. Wacha Mheshimiwa Ruto venye kuko Kenya, wacha achukue, tubadilishe hii hali, tunaumia.
It is estimated that about 1.26 million grade 6 pupils countrywide are scheduled to be admitted to junior secondary schools in January 2023. Joan Kimani, TV47.
Now, various political leaders from Turkana County, Uganda, South Sudan and Ethiopia met today in a cultural ceremony that brought together the Ateker community in Abim, Uganda, with the aim of preaching peace to the communities living along the borders. Have a look.
This cultural ceremony brought together pastoralist communities living around the borders, and especially the Ateker community in Uganda. The leaders in attendance, led by Turkana County Governor Jeremiah Lomurukai, have stressed on the need to maintain stability in the area, which for a long time has had to deal with unending cattle rustling conflicts.
All the communities are now developing. All the communities are running their businesses in their countries and they are going ahead in their communities. But the Karamoja region, or even the Toposa area, the Turkana area, the Nyangatom area, remain behind. This is because of insecurity. We tend to embrace the cow more than the human life.
Speaking after the ceremony, Turkana County Governor has said that the possession of illegal weapons has greatly contributed to the deterioration of peace, therefore urging senior leaders in the government to put in place special strategies to disarm the community and ensure security along the borders.
I have always talked on issues of disarmament. I feel for these corridors to get lasting peace, then the national governments need to come together and put a lasting solution to a disarmament, to an effective disarmament process.
Without security, we cannot maintain neither our culture nor even a business. So I'm arguing that all the Ateker community, particularly the people of Uganda, Karamoja, the Turkana, the Toposa and the Nyangatom, we need to embrace peace.
His sentiments have been supported by Ugandan leader Omar Arieda, who further suggests that the communities should embrace education as a way to equip the people with capacities to make informed choices about their lives and a positive contribution to this society.
This problem of raids, cattle rustling, and it is within our lineage. Our brothers are the ones who are trying to take this to benefit from these raids. It is with the Karamojong, the people of Abim, to at least be the people who should really take us through, to educate our young ones that whatever is going through is not the best for our future.
Paul Munio, TV47.
Now to a rather unfortunate incident. And a 3-year-old child succumbed to death while 4 others continue receiving treatment in Matungu Sub-County Hospital in Kakamega County after they ate poisonous cassava. Lucky Heriano with the details.
It is here in Ebsambe village, Matungu Sub-County in Kakamega County. A usually delicious meal in this region turned out to be sour to these 4. Here, a 3-year-old child died as 4 others are on medication after they ate a meal of cassava which is suspected to have been poisonous. Dolphin Shundu, mother to the deceased, narrates how her grandmother, both cassava, intended to prepare meals for her grandchildren, only things to turn out differently.
Sema hiyo miogo walichimba wakakula, wakahara nyumba mzima. Sasa akaanza kusema how comes tena huyu mwanaume achimbe miogo aitie huyu mama miogo yenye watu wakulangi.
Vile logo ndalitangulia kaonja. Akasikia hiyo miogo ni kali, akaachana nayo. Watoto nao vile ni wadogo hawajui, hao waliendelea tu kukula. Lakini sasa vile nilifika hapa nikapata hiyo mama kaa kwa hapa, nikamuuliza, hii miogo yenye umechimbia mama yangu, kwani hamkujua hii miogo watu wao wakuli, hii miogo iko na sumu? Akaniambia hata hiyo miogo bwanangu alienda akachimba, tukakula sisi wote pamoja na watoto, tumbo ilituuma.
However, after the meal, the four started vomiting and diarrheaing, a situation which led to them being taken to Matungu sub-county for treatment, where one was reported dead after some time. According to the health public officer in Matungu sub-county, Kelvin Lumwaji, investigations have begun to determine what led to the death of the young ones. Reporting for TV47, I'm Lucky Heriano.
Very unfortunate indeed. We do pray for the families and, of course, the four others that are receiving treatment to get well soon. You're watching TV47 Weekend with me, Karen Karimi. Let's take a short break. We'll be right back with more stories and, of course, the latest in sports.
TV47, the home of untold stories.
At Streisand School of Medical Health Science and Technology, we prepare the change makers of tomorrow by training them in theater technology, medical engineering, science laboratory and health records, applied biology, environmental health science, nutrition and dietetics, ICT, counseling psychology, and many more. Enroll with us today and take a certificate or diploma course. Visit our campuses in Juja, Nairobi West, Kisumu, and Homa Bay and get your career going.
Kaluma King Herbal Lozenges zinazo nguvu maradufu kutuliza kikohozi, vidonda vya koo na mafua. Kaluma King ni shwari.
Tika mama huyo muharifu kaiba kuku zangu, vifaranga wangu na mayai zote pia kabeba. Haya, tika mama huyo.
Maumivu yakizidi, muone daktari.
Do you aspire to acquire knowledge and skills relevant to the job market and entrepreneurship? Join us at KIPS Technical College, one of the largest NEC examination centers in Kenya and the premier tertiary institution established and mandated to operate by TVET Authority. We lead when it comes to offering high-quality technical and professional training and bringing out the best in our students. Our ultra-modern learning facilities, highly qualified and experienced lecturers, attachment liaison office, counseling office make us the preferred choice. Limited HELB loans are available to students. Our intake is ongoing for full-time, evening and online classes. Join us today and experience the KIPS difference. KIPS Technical College, your sure path to success.
You are watching TV47, the home of untold stories.
Welcome back to the program. You can engage with us on all our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. That's TV47 Kenya. And my Twitter handle is @Karimi_Karen. Now, farmers in Rift Valley have been encouraged to take advantage of the long rains being experienced in the region and plant short-term maturing crops as they await to harvest their maize. This will enhance the country's food security. Our reporter Boniface Baraza has the details.
As heavy rains continue to ravage North Rift region, farmers in the area have been asked to embrace planting crops that take short time to mature, including sweet potatoes, vegetables, and beans, among other crops. James Kanini is an agricultural expert from Apollo Agriculture.
Kuhimiza wakulima wetu ambao wako katika eneo hili waweze kutumia nafasi na mvua ambayo inanyesha wakati wa sasa kuongeza mazao yao, mavuno yao pale shambani kwa kupanda maharagwe. Letu kuu leo kama Apollo Agriculture ni kuhamasisha wakulima wetu na kutuhakikishia wale wengi ambao hatuna mashamba tuko na chakula.
In addition, Kanini, who is the head of the research unit in the organization, said that apart from ensuring the nation's food security, these crops will guarantee farmers sufficient income.
Wao kwa kupanda maharagwe msimu wa pili utakuwa unahakikishia wenyewe na nchi nzima kuwa kutakuwa na chakula cha kutosha kwetu na kwa wale wengine, na maharagwe ni chakula ambayo kinakuwa kwa haraka ama kinatumia muda mdogo shambani. Chini ya miezi 3 unaweza kuumevuna.
During the short rains maharagwe inafanya vizuri sana. Irish potatoes, sunflower na inasaidia kurekebisha mchanga. Kuna hata hapa sorghum finger millet mmeona. Na hii yote they are drought resistant crops kwa sababu tunajua saa zingine during the short rains mvua inaweza katika. Vitu kama sorghum finger millet, those are drought resistant crops. So there is a lot of opportunity for our farmers kupanda hiyo mimea.
Likewise, Julia Ngeyo, poultry farmer, has called on the county government to address the problem of shortage of agricultural officers in the field in order to improve poultry farming as alternative farming.
Tunaomba serikali ambayo imechukua sasa mheshimiwa anatembea, His Excellency anatembea, hakikishe mashinani tumepata maveterinary wa kutosha. Na tusikuwa na ghost workers, tunakuta kwa ofisi kuna veterinaries wengi tunaambiwa wameenda field. Sisi tuko kwa field tujawaona.
However, a section of farmers believes beans and vegetables do well during the heavy rain season.
Ukipanda short season, unaweza vuna mapema ukapeleka hata marako kwa shule kama karo ya shule. That's the best one. Na pia chakula ya kulisha pia watoto nyumbani.
A large percentage of farmers in the region relies heavily on the maize crop alone, with Trans Nzoia County producing more than 6,090,000 kilo bags of maize annually. Boniface Barasa, TV47, Trans Nzoia County.
Now, a group of women who vied for political seats in the last general elections but were not successful have called for national and county governments to consider them in appointments in public offices, saying that they have demonstrated their leadership abilities by coming out to vie. Now, speaking when they converged for a team-building exercise, the women said that about 93% of the women who vied did not clinch their seats, and therefore appointing them would go a long way to achieving the 2/3 gender principle. Now, they have now vowed to intensify their lobby by directly interacting with governors in all the 47 counties on the gender agenda.
That many women are encouraged to vie for political office with the intention to take advantage of their earned reputation of accomplished careers and gave them opportunity to demonstrate their leadership abilities over time. But when they vie and are not elected, these once vibrant women leaders are intentionally left out of public appointments by their opponents, exposing them to all sorts of economic vulnerabilities ever emerging.
What has been happening over the years is that when women vie for political positions, they are never assimilated in government. They are actually named as political exposed persons.
Tokeza katika ngazi mbalimbali zikiwemo ngazi za ugavana, ngazi za useneta, ngazi za ubunge, wakilishi wodi na hata katika wakilishi wanawake. Wanawake hao wote wanaojitokeza kuwania nafasi mbalimbali kama wenzangu walivyotangulia kusema ni kwamba wote wana kipawa, wana uwezo, wamekubalika, ni kura tu hazikutosha. Kwa hivyo inamaanisha kufikia hivi sasa wamo wengi ambao tayari hawakuweza kuchukua nafasi za uongozi, lakini wako tayari kabisa kuhakikisha kwamba wanazidi kusaidia katika kuikuza nchi yetu ya Kenya. Na kwa hivyo sisi sote hapa kilio chetu kimoja ama kusema sisi sote tunaomba katika serikali mpya ambayo inakuja hivi sasa ni kuangalia hawa wanawake wote waliojitokeza ili kutumikia nchi yetu ya Kenya, kutumikia kaunti zetu ambazo sisi wengi tunawakilisha hapa, wamo tayari kuhakikisha kwamba watakuwa katika nafasi za zitakazotolewa. Kwa hivyo sisi tunaomba serikali mpya pamoja na serikali za kaunti kuweza kuhakikisha wale wote waliojitokeza hasa wanawake wamepewa kipaumbele katika kuzingatia hizi nafasi zilizojitokeza katika serikali hii mpya.
Now, the final verdict in the presidential petition is expected to be announced tomorrow by the Supreme Court. Traders in Busia have expressed their anxieties over the nation's stability, claiming that their businesses have been slow since the August 9th elections. Now, the residents are, however, urging Kenyans to maintain peace for the interest of prosperity and salvage the country's economy that has seen Kenyans grapple with the high cost of living.
Tangu tufanye election kubwa ya Kenya, tumekuwa na shida sana. Hatujakuwa na kazi, wageni wamekataa kuja, mahali samaki inatokea pia itoki, watu wa kununua samaki hata ukiangalia soko hakuna watu. Sasa hii election ni kama ya Kenya, hii ni kama imetuletea shida kubwa.
Tulienda kutumbukiza kura tukachagua viongozi na shida ikawa mbele. Sasa kazi hatuna kwa hii soko ya Busia. Maana yake hii soko yetu ya samaki tunafanya kazi na wenye kutoka nje wakija kununua samaki zetu. Sasa hao pia wamegopa kuingia sababu hawajui nini itafanyika.
Naomba hiyo koti ya upeo itusaidie na mambo ikuwe ya haraka, hata kesho wamalize. Kwa maana sasa sisi tunaumia tangu tupige kura, sijui kama kura tulipiga ilikuwa shida gani. Hii maneno ya kusema tusijui nini turudie mpaka miezi mbili zote, watu hapa watakuwa kama kusakufa njaa.
Let's get sporty now. And Strathmore University continued their fine form as they registered a convincing win against an experienced Blazers team in the Kenya Basketball League action. Now, the university side took a comfortable lead in the first two quarters with 14-21 and 5-16 before the Blazers' experience came to aid to close in the third and fourth quarter. But it was too little too late as the Young Turks carried the day 69-45.
It was a tough loss. This season we're off the curve a bit badly, but I think it's a wake-up call for the boys. We played against a very young team where we are very experienced, but today we didn't use the experience to our advantage. So tough loss, we take it, we go back to training and we hope to meet them again in the second leg.
It was a good game. I liked the way we played. The rotation was superb. Everyone had an aspect of winning and our mentality was right. So what we needed to do, just score easy baskets, and we had a very strong lead that they could not recover.
Now, AFC Leopards earlier today played out a goalless draw against Ulinzi Stars in a friendly match staged at the Nyayo National Stadium. Now, the intense match saw both sides squander their chance to score goals and win the match. Speaking after the game, AFC Leopards head coach Patrick lauded his players for securing the draw, stating that he had only returned into the country 10 days ago when the team entered its serious training phase. At the same time, Patrick showed his excitement over the postponement of the start of the new FKF Premier League season from the 10th to the 24th of September this year by the Transition Committee, stating it will help his team prepare adequately.
It's what we were working the last 10 days, you know. I came back 10 days ago and we were focused on the defensive attitude. So as individually and collectively, so I was just focused on that today.
Basically nimeona FC wamejipanga, but ukiangalia upande wa mashambulizi timu zote mbili magolikipa hawajafanya kazi vile. It was a tactical approach, sliding both teams. So mimi naweza sema ni kama wamekuwa cautious upande zote mbili.
Now, Central Region Football defending champions Olobosat FC of Nyandarua defended their 2019 title after thrashing Kagonye Boys of Nyeri 1-0 in the football finals of the Kenya Secondary School Sports Association games played at the Thika High School earlier today. Now, the intense match went into extra time after ending in a goalless draw in normal stoppage time as Anthony Jesse scored the solitary goal of the match in the 98th minute to hand Oloposat FC the much-needed victory. Speaking after the game, Oloposat head coach Dan Musomba stated the team is full of experience heading into the nationals after taking part in the national level for consecutive times and representing East Africa in 2018. At the same time, in the men's handball final, Mangu High School defeated Wangoi Boys of Nyandarua with scores of 2017 as they extended their reign of the game in the region.
Up to this level until to our last game where we lost to Alliance, but we are happy because we beat all the other teams. Next level we are going to the nationals, and the mistakes that tulikuwa nazo, we are going to be correcting them within the next 2 days as we go to nationals on Thursday.
Shinda tumequalify kwenda nationals na ijakuwa kibarua rahisi. Kwenye tulianzia huko Nyandarua na mvua ikatusumbua sana, lakini tukangangana, vijana wakapigana, tukiwa na mwalimu mkuu na assistant coach wangu, tumesaidiana sana. Kufikia hapa pia vijana nao wamejituma, tukiwa tu na mashida zenye tulikuwa nazo juu wachezaji wengi walikaa kama waliachana mambo ya mpira kutokana na ugonjwa wa COVID. Lakini sasa hizi tumeona wameanza kurudisha jina ya shule kubwa hii Le Koroborosat yenye imekuwa nationals mara 4.
Now, the national American football team thrashed Uganda with scores of 24-18 in the country clash American football match played at the Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology. Now, Kenya won the match after registering 4 touchdowns, while Uganda managed to score only 3 touchdowns. Speaking after the match, the Kenya Federation of American Football Vice President Moses Ondeng stated that the sport is facing a challenge of lack of American football pitches in the country. Thus, they are forced to improvise with the rugby pitches, as he called on well-wishers to support the development of the sport in the country. This was the second meetup between the two teams, the first one having been played at Moi University in 2019.
Any American football field in Kenya. So in most cases we just use the rugby pitches, which are not standard in terms of